Okay, so we're back again with this program that we made right here. We've done a lot of work. Literally, I do want to encourage you that if you understand what's going on with declaring these variables, making this array, searching with a for loop, searching with it, or working with an if, else if, an else statement, a switch statement, and this other for loop here, like really that is a lot of concepts down. So basically I'm going to show you one other way to search this array. And this is not something that you just memorize. This is something that you quote unquote Google. You can't just know everything. It's impossible. In fact, if you open up this website, let me pull over my browser here. I don't have one open. Okay, here, I'll just do one of these. If you go to this website here, and you type, this is one of the best websites I've ever found in my life. The Mozilla Developer Network. Doesn't mean that it's only Firefox. It works for Chrome as well. They're like the first one to do it. But in this search thing right here, if you search, I don't know, for loop, right there, just a bunch of documents ready to go. See? That you can actually read. Here's an example code. Just goes through coding code. It just basically, this is everything. Read this. Find it out. If you want to search something like how to find something in an array or something like that, this is where you go. And so basically how we discovered this is obviously through our instructors, our amazing instructor, Sean. We've discovered another thing. But if you can't find that, just Google it and see if somebody else has found that or had trouble with it and used it. So what we're going to be using today is called indexOf. A very powerful thing in JavaScript. So what this is going to do is that we can call this with an array, put a search parameter in here, and it will give us the index in which it was found in the array. Let's test this out. So the syntax is going to look like this. Once again, since we're not using this right now, I'm just going to comment it out so we don't get confused of where we are. And this belongs down here, so we'll move that here. Bam. So you say the name of your array, so it's right here, and we go dot index of. See, it's right there saved for us. But once again, get in the habit of typing it out so you get remembered. Now, this is very important that you remember this. Functions, remember functions. Whenever you have a function, you're gonna, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have these parentheses. Always gonna have these parentheses. And these parentheses tell the computer, hey, this is a function, run this function on movies, or a prototype, depending on what it is. You can get into prototypes later, but for now I'm just going to call it a function for just nomenclature reasons. So you're basically saying movies dot run this function on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a variable to this. Variable, we'll call it find, equals this. So basically whatever this function or prototype returns us will go into this find variable and set equal to there. So let's say we want to find Friday the 13th. And I should have just said Friday because I'm sick of typing this out. Coders are lazy. Oh man, the insert. Whoever made that needs to die. It is. I've never used that in my life. I don't understand why it exists. Anyway, so if we console log this out, check out what's going to happen. Look at that. We got a 4. What does that mean? It's saying that Friday the 13th, you're going to find that in the array movies at the 4th index. And look, it's true. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. In fact, we can change this. We can do Punisher. Run it again. Look at that, it's 1. Isn't that awesome? So basically, this is a very quick way to see if something exists in an array. Now we can build upon this logic. We can take out this find right here, this console log, we don't need it, and let's do an if statement. So what we can do is if find equals something. Now this is very important. I didn't show you this. I apologize. Let me start over. So what happens if it's not in the array? See, I'm human too. What happens if it's not in the array? So say that, for example, they want to find the movie, I don't know, Blaster. I don't even know if that's a movie. But anyway, we'll do Blaster. Obviously, Blaster, you can see right here, is not in there. But we can see what happens. And what it's going to do? -1. So basically, in the computer world, -1 kind of symbolizes if it's not found in an array. Usually that's what they'll equate this. So the program is returning this -1 if something's not found. And remember, capitalization matters here. So if I did the Punisher, it's still going to be -1 because of this P right here. See? So that's just something to be aware of, is with capitalization. In actuality, what you would want to do is run a lowercase function. I'll show you one of those later to actually lowercase all these. So what you're going to lowercase is the name of the function. I really highly suggest you go on to MDM, this website right here, and type, I think this is it, to lowercase. I think that's the name. I don't have these all memorized. See right here, prototype. And then you just click on this. Basically, you read it. So it's going to tell you what it's going to do. So it's going to, a method returns the calling string value, convert to lowercase. So it's going to take a string, convert it to lowercase. Here's an example of it. Very helpful. So alphabet's all capitalized. Once you run this, it's going to be all lowercase. And then they'll say like, hey, here's some other example ones that are very similar, like to uppercase. So the best way to do this is to lowercase the entire array and then just search lowercase. But anyway, something you can look on your own. So we can then expand this logic. So we can say if so for example, we can do if find equals -1, we can then not in array, or not in list. Let's do that. And then once again, we can expand this with an else. So let's try this out. Not in list. Bam, -1, not in list. So let's change this to a capital P. See, it's in there. So look at this. Look at this line of code. Bam, compared to this amount, very beautiful. Now I want to point something out very quickly. Doing this, doing the switch statement with the if statement, those are all equivalent to this. It's not exactly the same. There's going to be differences with runtime on how fast the computer will run this logic. This one is going to be the fastest. IndexOf actually converts it to log n, which is something you should look on your own with runtimes. It's called the Big O runtime. Something that's very important. But basically, it's how fast a program can compile. So this one's going to be the fastest. But if you're not working with that big of an array, you might want to try these. But I'm just saying that they're all equivalent in what it's doing. So it's very important to remember that. So we can actually go one step further here. So we can actually do this. And this is just something that you'll get comfortable in time with. Absolutely, you can cast it as a variable and then do that. But movie.indexOf will be saved as that, so you can do this. No. User search, that's what I want. Once again, user search is right here. Don't want that though. So we can say if user search is less than 0, see, not on the list. So basically what this is doing, this is always going to hold that number. I just cast it as a number here. So both ways that I did it are equivalent, so don't be worried about switching back and forth. If you like putting it as a variable and then putting it in here, that's completely fine. Don't ever worry about doing that. If you're comfortable, then do this. It's just another way to save code, so now you don't need this code. This code will now run on its own. See? So it's just, once again, not a problem. It's just a coder's preference. So that's indexOf, a great little function or prototype method to do this. All right, thank you. Bye.